efferent arteriole. And you know that the filtrate that comes out here goes down the proximal convoluted tubule, descending limb, loop of Henle, ascending limb. And so far we have drawn the ascending limb and the distal convoluted tubule here just to keep it simple. In reality, the ascending limb comes here and it goes behind the Bowman's capsule, and then it comes and it goes between these two spaces here. So it comes like this here and goes and then gets thrown into, so it's a distal convoluted tubule begins here. The distal convoluted tubule begins here. And I wanted to keep it simple, so I drew the distal convoluted tubule aside. In most of your textbooks, they show it like that. But in reality, this thing, the ascending limb goes behind the Bowman's capsule and emerges between the two blood vessels, the afferent arteriole and the efferent arteriole. So if you look in that flat model, they'll show the cross section of the end of the ascending limb and the beginning of the distal convoluted tubule. So this is important because there is a connection between the cells that are located here on this side. Those cells are called these cells are called macular denser cells. So this structure is the this beginning of distal convoluted tubule, or the end of ascending limb. And these cells here are called macular denser cells. You only need to see this on a model. You can't see it under the microscope. Macular denser cells. So those are the cells on the ascending limb or the beginning of the distal convoluted tubule. And the corresponding cells here on the afferent arteriole, the cells here are also modified, and these cells here are called by two names. They're either called granular cells or they're called juxtaglomerular cells. You may choose to use either of those names. I'm assuming most of you are going to go with granular cells, but I can't say that anymore. Anyway, these two cells together, they work to help with blood pressure regulation, and so they are called the juxtaglomerular apparatus. Or juxtaglomerular, what does your textbook use the term? They use they don't use something else, not they call it juxtaglomerular unit or something. Complex, juxtaglomerular complex. Thank you. So you can call that, otherwise they're called the JG complex. And they have a function. Juxta means next to, glomerular means the glomerulus here, so juxtaglomerular complex. So these cells are either called juxtaglomerular cells or granular cells. These are called macular denser cells. Together, this unit, they work together, and that's called the juxtaglomerular complex. So you need to know that for your lab practical to identify them. So it will be on this flat model that you will have to identify that here. So it shows you the macular denser cells here and the granular or the juxtaglomerular cells. So together that would be the juxtaglomerular complex. I think other than that, everything on that handout we've discussed. So you have a good 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Make sure you